Hello and welcome back to another week of Sambo iRacing. We are here at Watkins Glen Boot for another track guide, this time in the Toyota GR86. So this is using the fixed setup for the Buttkicker series. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments. And if you are new to my channel, what we do is a hot lap, a breakdown, and we're back in the cockpit one final time with the driving line on. Right, let's start the hot lap. Okay, let's start the hot lap. I've actually just done the hot lap, but without the mic on, because I'm a mouth breather. Right, 200 meter board, brake up to about 60%, long trail off, really attack that inside corner. We drop it down to third gear, exit nice and wide. We are now flat on the gas all the way up to inner loop, which is turn 4A. So we're going to make sure that we're just touching the curves, these rumble strips on the inside. Doesn't slow you down, lets us know we're going as close as we can to shortening the track. Right, now we're going to aim at that tree up ahead. That's the outside of the inner loop. And at the 200, we're going to start our turn in, and we're going to lightly touch the brake, only up to about 5%. Drop it down to fourth. Now we're back on the gas, attacking all of those curves. Nice wide entry. We do a lift. As soon as we see the marshal's hook, we're back on the gas. Very similar to the GT3s around here. We head back over to the right-hand side. We're looking for the storm drain on the right-hand side there. Long trail off, down to third. Using that inside curve. Getting back on the gas. Looking for the 100 meter board coming up ahead here. We're going to drop it down to third. Then drop it down second. We can go a lot faster than we think we're going to be able to because of the camber and the fact we're going uphill. We'll use this extra bit of track that they kindly built for us. Up to fourth gear. And we're looking for just before the 100 meter sign here on the left hand side. Little dab on the brakes, trail it off, down to third, back on the gas at the apex. It's going to send us out wide, but that's fine, there's no off track there. Back over to the right hand side, just before the crest, back on the brakes, drop it down to second, get back on the gas. Now I lost about a tenth. If you look at the telemetry there, I came back off the gas because I was scared of hitting the wall, as it was a good lap. Right, we're absolutely flat here through 10, in fourth gear, back over to the left. As soon as the tyres end, little dab on the brakes, back on the gas ahead of the apex, in fourth gear, exit nice and wide, and over and across the line in a 2:06.367. A lot of fun. Right, let's do the breakdown. Okay, breakdown lap. Right, so as I said, it's the 200 meter board on the left hand side, and that's when we're going to brake up to about 60%. We're going to wipe that speed off. We're going to start our turn in and trail off, drop it down to third. We come off the brakes at the apex using a heck of a lot of curb here, and we get up to 100% as we're on the curb. And that is the most important corner on the track because we're now, as I say, on full power, full throttle all the way to inner loop 4A. So every tenth that you gain getting on the gas early, you're going to reap the reward all the way through this bendy straight. Right, 200 meter board, that's when we're going to start turning towards the first apex here of the inner loop. So we're going to say there are 4 apices. So we're going to turn in and we're going to do a lift. And we only get on the brakes, I'm barely breathing on it. So I may have hit 5% there, and that was just to make sure that the balance was over the front wheels. So we're going to basically just be holding a tiny bit of maintenance throttle through here. Still in fifth gear, we're making sure that we're hitting both of them. Now we drop it down to fourth when the revs will allow us to. We're making sure we're turning in and we're getting back on the throttle, so we're back on full throttle before the second 2 apexes here of inner loop. We're wanting a nice wide entry here into the outer loop, turn 5. And then as we start our turn in, we're going to do a lift almost down to nothing. Down to what? 10%, down to 2%. And then if you look at that marshal's hook just hoving into view on the right-hand side of our screen, as soon as I see that, I go back up to 100% because I know now I'm going to be able to get through the corner. It's really nicely cambered, and you've got a whole lot of exit runoff here on the left-hand side if you need it. Right, our next braking point is this little storm drain coming up here just to the right of my steering wheel on the grass, and when we get to that we're going to brake up to about 55%, long trail off, dropping it down to third, and as soon as we come off the brakes we go back on the gas and we're on 100% nice and early on. Now I like to use the curb here to let me know that I'm making full use of the track and the camber. Exit nice and wide. Up to 4th gear. We're looking for the 100-meter board, and it's just before we get to the 100-meter board we brake again up to about 60%. Quick trail off. I drop it down to 3rd, still trailing it off, drop it down to 2nd, and now I get back on the gas. And I go straight up to 100%. As I say, you can go a lot faster here than you think you're going to be able to. Holding that steering wheel, now opening it up. We're nearly there, guys. Right, 100-meter board next, midway between the 2 and the 100, and this time again, braking up to about 65%, really is the sweet spot around here. I'm going to trail that off, drop it down to 3rd, and then as soon as we get down to the curb and the apex here, that's when I go back onto full gas, and back on 100%, nice and early doors, and as I say, that does send you out wide, which is fine. There's no real braking marker here for the turn 9, and it is a slippy car, but it's not actually a slippy corner, sorry, for most cars, but it's not too bad here in the GR86. But just before we get to the top here, I'm going to brake up to about 55%, trail it off, drop it down to 2nd. Now, if you see, I went up to 70%, and then I started backing off, and that was because I was on a good lap, and I was really worried that I would ruin it. But I didn't really need to back off. As you see, when I do finally get up to 100%, I've actually got acres over to the right-hand side there that I could have used. So I had another meter off to my right-hand side. So I shouldn't have backed off as I did. My apologies for letting you all down. Up to 4th gear. As I say, we take this one absolutely flat. Then we come up to the final corner. Don't ruin it all now. We get to the end of the tyre barrier on the left-hand side. And then a little dab on the brakes up to about 40%, and then back on 100% gas, nice and early doors. Kiss that apex, don't hit the wall. And that we have it. We have the breakdown lap. We have one final version coming up next with the driving line on without me talking. Enjoy.